morning, I'm Tina Laster and you're at the Farmer's Kitchen. And today I'm going to be cooking up breakfast for you guys. I'm going to show you how I cook my homemade biscuits and how we normally eat breakfast around here at least 2 or 3 times a week. Now most of the time when we're in a rush, the kids will eat a bowl of cereal or oats or something like that. But today they're all home, it's Saturday, and we're gonna have breakfast. So, my biscuits are really simple. We'll get started on those. I've already got the bacon started over here. I have bacon already cooking. It is a black and pepper maple bacon. It's our homemade bacon that we make. And I have some hog jaw that's cooking over here. And that's from our pig that we processed about 2 years ago. And so we're going to fix up some homemade gravy, some biscuits. Now, some people may like the big cat eye biscuits, but I like mine thin and crispy. But I am going to fix them where they rise up. So we'll probably have a mixture of different kinds of biscuits in there. So, got my oven. Now I cook my biscuits on 450. I cook them fast, get them in there, and then they'll be nice and crispy on the outside, fluffy on the inside. So let's get started on those. My biscuits only have a few ingredients in them. My biscuits have flour. We're going to do 3 cups of flour because we want a good size pan. And then I put, I guess, about a half a pint of milk in mine, and then I put lard. I cook with lard most of the time. Our pigs, when we process them, I got 125 or 26 jars of lard off of them. So I'm going to say we're putting a good half a cup of lard in these biscuits. And then I stir it up. Now my lard is right out of the refrigerator. It is it's a little cold, but that's how I like it. I like for it to melt down. And then, after I get that kind of mixed like I want it, it's still real dry. And then I'll just add water to finish it out. And the flour I'm using is just plain self-rising flour. That way I don't have to put anything in it, anything to leaven it or to make it rise. I don't put eggs in mine. I don't put sugar in mine. Liz has been over doing my dishes, and so she's through. Okay. And you know when you buy those canned biscuits at the store and they have those little layers that you can pull apart and they're so light and fluffy, that's how my husband likes them. How you can pull them apart. And so to do that, to make these fluffy like that, what you do is you sprinkle your flour in between each layer and then you fold it over and you pat it out again. Just sprinkle it on there in between each layer. Fold it over and you will have layers in your biscuits. Let's do one more time so we can get one more layer in there. And I'll show you when we take them out of the oven, we'll see if they layered up. Okay, now put the flour in the rolling pan. When you take your lard out of the refrigerator, it's cold. When you put it in your biscuits and you start working it, it starts melting it. And it just melts it and puts it in just the right places. sometimes when you layer these biscuits and you roll them out, it takes a minute because it's springy. And it almost feels like they're overworked. Okay, that's about as thick as I'm gonna make them. Okay. Let me see if I can find my cutter. Found it. Now these may be just a little thin. Let me go ahead and get my lard. Take some lard, put it on your fingers, and just rub it on your pan. Rub your edges really good. Now, a lot of times I'll use bacon grease, but that has that maple syrup in it, and when it fries out of it, it's in your grease. And I just don't want this to burn my biscuits or anything, so, or have a taste that my kids won't eat. Get the lard off. Okay. Now our pan is good, greased up. Now I do use butter as well. I'll top these off with butter. My grandmother, Mama Vady Turnbow, she used to make the biggest biscuits. I mean, they were that big, and they would rise up that tall. You know, she'd call them cat-eye biscuits. And Mama always made them like this, real thin, because Daddy liked his real thin and crispy. So, and then Steve's mom, I don't think I've ever ate her homemade biscuits. She always bought them at the store in a can, you know. But I've always, if I have the stuff, I'm always making mine homemade. I guess I get that from Mama. I do a lot of things from scratch. But my grandmother, my great-grandmother, everybody, you know, you had to cook from scratch back then. Whatever you grew in your garden, that's how you fed your family. And I think today it's just too convenient for everybody. And I think that's a lot of reason why we have weight problems, especially me, you know, going and getting convenience foods and stuff. And especially when you have teenagers, they like to stop and, you know, buy fast food and pizzas and hamburger and all that. And I like pizza too. And I like to make homemade pizza. The yeast dough. Now these right here will probably be just a little bit thicker. We'll make these a little thicker for Steve. He likes his thick. That's the big one. And if you don't have a cookie cutter, a lot of times I'll just use a ring to my canning lids. You use the big ones or the small ones. I guess if you were to use 4 cups of flour, it will always finish that pan out. I have another pan that I normally use for my biscuits, or I'll put them in an iron skillet. But if I put them in an iron skillet, I usually have to make 2 skillets full, you know, especially, you know, with our family of 5 living here. And then when our older sons and their family come, you know, I usually have to fix two of these, 2 platters full. So clean up the mess just a little bit here. Lower top. But it's always good to have your family home. Have everybody home for the holidays. Easter's coming up, and just think what a wonderful time you'll have when your family all gets together for the holidays. On Easter, or the weekend of Easter, I usually make pancakes for the kids, and they're shaped like bunnies. I'll fix 2 little ears and a little head and a big round circle for the body, and then I'll put a small one for their butt, and then I'll make 2 little feet, and they'll decorate them with chocolate chips and marshmallows, and they really fix them up. And that is coming up real quick. Are y'all having family in for the holidays, for Easter? Well, my mother is visiting my sister. She's going to be out of town for Easter, so we're going to miss her this year for visiting. Okay, let's see. We're going to put some butter on top. That's what we're going to do. And let's see. I got us a little bit of butter melted in the microwave, and I'm going to put on top of them. See, I told you they would be every shape, every thickness. And if you want to finish out your whole pan, use 4 cups of flour. So, we've got the butter on. Now let's pop them in the oven. I'm going to put them on the second shelf, and if I have to raise them up to crisp the top of them, we will. Okay, now let's get started on our gravy this morning. Okay, I changed my mind about what I was going to use to cook my gravy in. I'm going to go ahead and just use this little green skillet here that I just absolutely love. I had a cast iron skillet here, and that skillet is not as seasoned as I'd like for it to be. And so we're just gonna use this skillet. We're gonna get us some flour in it. Stir that up. And let that start cooking. Make your roux. The key to good gravy is your salt. Put just a little bit more flour in there, because if you don't have enough flour in it, it will taste real greasy. You want your roux to be, you want it to be a little runny. You want it to be able to slide around in your skillet and not be real clumpy. You want it to be just a little bit runny. But not so runny that you see the oil in your skillet. You don't want to see clumps, you know, runny oil. You want it to just cook your roux. We're gonna add our salt, just regular white kosher salt. You can use pink Himalayan, but you put quite a bit of salt in it. You can season it to taste, but I kind of usually know about how I want mine. And I like for this to get just a little brown. Not too nutty, like I said. I don't want to overcook it. It'll taste like a coffee bean or something. Okay, I think that this is brown enough. Let me give it just a couple more minutes to make sure. Let me check our biscuits right quick. Oh yeah, they're rising up real pretty. You don't want those to overcook either. Okay, we're going to add our milk. Let's see, make sure that that's on hot. Ooh, I just splashed it everywhere. Add our milk. Stir it up. Don't want it lumpy. Add our water. Like my burner turned off. Now, some people strain their gravy because they don't want it lumpy or whatever, but usually I don't have that problem, but my burner looked like it got turned off, so we'll see how lumpy it is. But all you have to do is just the back of that spoon, just flatten out your lumps if you see any in there. And just use your little wooden spoon. But this skillet I have found cooks everything just so great. It's great for eggs, frying up anything. And this is getting a little thicker than I want, so I'm going to add some more water to it. Now this will still, even though I'm putting a lot of water in it, it's still going to taste like milk gravy with that milk in it. And it's still going to be white. But my roux, I browned my roux a little bit. And I like for it to be runny over my biscuits. I don't like for it to be a big clump when you put the gravy out on your plate over your biscuits. And it can clump up because, you know, the longer it sets on the burner, the thicker it's going to get. And even if you pull it off the burner, it's still hot and it's still cooking up. Okay, I think that will be enough. It's just runny enough that it's gonna be fine. Yeah. Yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect. It's not real clumpy. Now, if you like thicker gravy, just keep cooking it and just keep stirring it down, and it'll work out just fine for you. I'll move this over off the burner. Okay, clean up a little bit. All right. Now we're waiting on our biscuits. Here's our butter, waiting for them to come out. Put our lard in the refrigerator. Our refrigerator's full of Jell-O. Millie made Jell-O. She had like 4 or 5 packs of Jell-O out the other day and was going to fix all of it. I said, why are you fixing all that Jell-O? You know, she said, well, we want to have a taste test. We want to taste them all and see which ones taste the best. I said, you don't need to do all that Jell-O. So she ended up just fixing 2 different big pans of it. So they're in the refrigerator. I don't know how that taste testing went. Okay. Let's check on these. They look really good, really good. Let's see if they need. I think I'm going to just put them in the top and let them crisp up just a little bit. Let's put it on broil. Let's let them roll a little bit. It won't take long for those to broil up. Okay. There's a little oil over here. We'll clean that up. But normally, I fix cheese and eggs and all that because I love cheese in their eggs. But today I thought, well, I'll just do biscuit and gravy, and they can eat some bacon and some hog jaw because I haven't fixed hog jaw in a while. And a lot of times when I don't use the bacon out of our freezer, I love Wright's bacon. I love it. And I'll just buy several packs of it and put it back, you know. And then I'll usually start on our freezer bacon and stuff. But that freezer bacon, that is so good. That pig is so good. But I still like my Wright's bacon. Okay, it likes just a little bit if we don't burn them. If I get you talking up here, and you know. But anyway, that's usually how I fix mine, and it tastes, you know, it tastes so good. Now that needs a little bit more salt, but yes, that tastes just like milk gravy. When I say a little bit, I mean, but you can taste it and see how much it needs. But there's so many ways that you can fix gravy. You know, there's so many ways that you can fix biscuits. Now this is just a good way to fix them, you know, a good inexpensive way. There's our biscuits. Now, some of them are fluffed up real pretty. And make sure everything's off. But these are our biscuits, and look how pretty. Now these right here, like I said, they'll come apart in layers. You can just see the layers in the biscuit. Ooh, and they're hot. We'll put a little butter on them. Get them all good melted. But you can, a lot of times though, I fix biscuits with bacon. I'll put my bacon grease and grease my pan with bacon grease after I fry my bacon up, especially if it's Wright's bacon. And no, we're not sponsored by Wright's bacon, but I wish we were, and I hope one day we do get sponsored by Wright's bacon. Okay, but here is the butter on the biscuits. We've got our biscuits, we've got our bacon, we've got our gravy. And now all we need is some of my homemade jams. I have homemade pear preserves, peach jam, blackberry. I have apple butter, you name it. So the kids are gonna love that this morning. I thank you so much for joining me today in the Farmer's Kitchen here at Laster Farm. My name is Tina Laster, and I thank you. Until next time, God bless. Bye.